Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today I'm here to tell you not to get ripped off with another Pikachu. Yeah, it's happening again, but it's not the same. Now, we're talking, of course, about the Play Promo Pikachu, which it's actually hitting leagues today, I'm hearing from some of my friends in Europe. It is literally arriving at leagues today. And there are some parallels we're going to draw here between this and Pikachu with grey felt hat, the Van Gogh Pikachu. There are definitely some similarities that can be drawn, I grant you. This is not the same thing. This is very much not the same thing. Because what's going on here is that this promo is actually just being given out at leagues, and it's being given out everywhere. Yes, I am well aware that Van Gogh Pikachu, and I want it on the record that did at times go down in price, but it's never, and I explained this properly in a video the other day, it never went down to the price that at least I was expecting. But it was because the release of that was a little bit all over the place. First, it was available at the Van Gogh Museum, which was awesome. But then it got a bit silly, and then the Van Gogh Museum have actually stopped handing that out now, literally because people couldn't behave. Then it was made available on the Pokémon Center, but the products got botted really quickly, and then that kind of ran out, and that was a bit of an issue. And then it got re-released on the Pokémon Center, and to be fair, at that point, a bunch of people did get it, but not everybody got it, and it sold out very quickly, and it all got a bit silly, and that Pikachu is becoming one of the more expensive modern promos that we've seen. I showed you the other day that is a promo which is kind of well over $100 at this point. I mean, the ones I showed you the other day, we're literally looking at kind of $150, $180, and a card frame that's trying to trick people into buying it. Although it is actually kind of a cool card frame, to be fair. And the point here is that got stupid, but it's kind of understandable why. You kind of understand why that got silly, because not everyone could get to the Van Gogh Museum, and then it was released twice on the Pokémon Center, but once was a complete disaster, and the other one sold out pretty quickly, and now it is coming back, but it's only coming back to physical stores in the Netherlands, and it's a little bit all over the place. Okay. This is not that. This is being given out at League. Now, the annoying thing about this is I can't tell you how this is going to be given out at your league because I don't go to your league. What should happen, we'll have to wait and see. What should happen is that your league leader gets a bunch of these in and then distributes them to all the lovely folks that go along to league. And then you get this. And jobs are good 'un. That is what should happen. Unfortunately, at this stage, we also know that is not going to be what always happens. Because some people aren't very nice, basically, to put it simply. Some people aren't very nice. So, good leagues are going to make this available in the right way, and bad leagues are going to make this available on eBay at a massively increased price. And I don't appreciate this. Not that I have any say in it whatsoever, but I kind of wish this didn't happen, honestly. That would be lovely. And it's been brought to my attention this morning, I went and had a look at Card Market. What do we see on Card Market? 12 euros, 15 euros, 30 euros, 50 euros? Nah, mate. Nah. Now, it is worth pointing out these are foreign language versions of them. The 50 euro one is in French, and some of them are in Spanish, some of them are in German. These aren't actually English versions. I'm not sure if the English versions have actually got to League yet. Certainly, if you look at Card Market, that would suggest not. For those of you in the US, Card Market is basically the European equivalent of TCG Player. They're the marketplace we tend to use for picking up singles. And a lot of the time cheaper than TCG Player, in fact. But the point is that's kind of what we're talking about. That's where we are. And yeah, this is way too expensive. And look, I know that some of you are going to look at this and go, wassy, mate. It's 13 euro. All right? Chill out, mate. 13 euro is really not that much. Calm yourself down. It's going to be all right. And yeah, you could say that. But this should be a much, much cheaper card. This is a card that has literally just got into League and just started being given out. And this is when people are in their kind of maximum, let's get as much money as we can out of people phase. This is where people are at their maximum kind of money grabbing, because when you've got a card like this, which should really attract almost no value whatsoever, this should be something which attracts minimal value because it's a promo being given out at League and it's going to be made available in quite wide numbers because it's being given out at League. And they have to have a bunch to give out to every league. This shouldn't really be a card that can attract much value at all. Because how can it? But unfortunately it is. And if you go over to eBay, it gets a little bit worse. Now, you can kind of tell where has got these at the moment from where the listings are. Like I showed you on Card Market, all the listings were from Germany and Spain with one in France. So they're clearly the countries that have gotten this confirmed and actually got them sent out. Whereas we're just not seeing English versions out there. And over on eBay, we can see that there are a couple of listings, but they're from Australia. Now, the two that are currently on there at the moment are actually on there for, well, they've not actually finished yet. They're both being bid. One sitting at $66 and one sitting at $52, which, I mean, again, why? And look, as I always tell you, every time a set releases, this was a Paradox Rift the other day, every time a set releases, I tell you, don't go buying singles yet. It's way too early to go and buy singles. Do that every time. And it's the same kind of thing here. Maybe you've got a good reason. Maybe you want to be one of the first to get it graded or whatever. Or maybe you just have the money and you don't care that you're overspending, in which case, fine. But generally speaking, this is a terrible, terrible time to buy this promo because $50 for this? And it's clearly not been released in the US yet because there are no US listings. Why are people doing this? Why are they paying this? Unless they want to be one of the first, in which case, fine. But the thing is, right, if you want this card, go and buy this card. Because there are other listings over on eBay. Like there's a Japanese version for $3.69 with free shipping. It's the same card, and frankly, it's cooler because it's a Japanese version. But literally, the Japanese version, which has just been released as a promo, is a $4 card. Now, the Indonesian version is actually showing up there. And that is $30 at the moment, which is, for what it's worth, still cheaper. But that's got the World Championship stamp on it. Incidentally, as a side note, I actually really want the Indonesian version. There were a few Asian territories like Indonesia that got it, and it was released around the World Championships. They got it as a World Championship promo. That I want. That I very, very much want. Oh, interestingly enough, I'm not going to show you them all. There are a bunch of Japanese versions of this card on eBay for like $3.50 including postage. There's a bunch of listings on there. It's kind of absurd how cheap that card is in Japanese. So my point is, just hold off on this one. If you're going to spend that much money, go and buy one of the versions that's got the World Championship stamp on. Because at least then you can get the one with a cool championship stamp. And I think that's kind of lovely, honestly. And there are a bunch from Indonesia and other places on eBay for about that much money. That would be my recommendation. That's what I would suggest. For now, just hold off on this one. If the only listings on eBay are from Australia and people are paying like $60, don't do it. It's not a good idea. Just hold off, and it's going to be released everywhere, and it's going to be cheaper. For what it's worth, there have been a few that have sold over in Australia for $70 or more. $70. And look, in this context, the ones over on Card Market are starting to look quite cheap. In fact, it's starting to look very cheap. But why? If we're at the stage where people are selling it on eBay for like $70 and people are actually paying it, because people are panicking with FOMO because it's nice and early, why are we buying it at all? It's the worst time to buy the card. Don't do it. And yes, I know what just happened with Van Gogh Pikachu, but I spent the first couple minutes of this video explaining to you why it's not the same thing. I explained to you why it's different. So you know what? I think we all need to just settle down and take a minute. It is going to be all right, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be all right. Right, that's what you need to know, and now it is over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this. Tell me if you've picked this up. Tell me if you're planning to pick this up. Tell me if you're going to be waiting a little while. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. Oh, and get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely William Shaw, who's been a support of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.